There's a peek outside our window. Pretty sunrise developing at 6:23 and a chilly 53 degrees right now in Sarasota. Okay, this is going to be fun. Where did you find your inspiration to read as a kid? Maybe a parent, a teacher, or perhaps somebody else?
Well, since March is National Reading Month, I asked a few familiar faces to share some of their favorite books and reading inspiration with me.
It was one of the scariest movies from one of the scariest books, The Shining, written by Stephen King.
For me, The Shining was the very first book that I ever read, and I was instantly obsessed with every single thing Stephen King. I went to the library, got all of his books out every week, and just read one Stephen King book after the other. Stephen King is the man that has inspired my lifelong love of reading.
And speaking of love, for ABC 7 morning reporter Marla Spence, it was a love story that still stands out as one of her favorite books.
I was actually introduced to it when I was in high school. The book is called Their Eyes Were Watching God, and it's by Zora Neale Hurston, and it was just a beautiful love story between a couple. It's actually set in the state of Florida, our beautiful state that we live in, and it doesn't have a very happy ending, but the entire book is just a beautiful love story.
Books can also be a bonding experience, and for anchor Scott Dennis, it was the Harry Potter book series.
Because I got to share it with my daughter. We loved those books, and we would read them every night at bedtime, and it was the most special experience for me as a father. But to see her joy of reading and reading these wonderful books and the stories in the Harry Potter series was wonderful, because it awakened her love of reading. You know, and for adults too, they're great books.
I've got such vivid flashbacks of my father reading the Hardy Boys to me every night before bed. It was such a sweet thing. And my parents both read the newspapers religiously every evening, and I started to. What did they read that I wanted to know about? So between the Hardy Boy collection and just the newspapers, I began to enjoy reading at a relatively young age.
Of course, it was my parents that read to me that made me love reading, but I have to give a nod out to Mr. Inglis and Miss Van Paris in high school, who taught me the love of Shakespeare, and I devoured it in high school. That, of course, led on to reading anything I could get my hands on.
All right, there you go. You want to share your favorite book with us this month? We would love to hear from you on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram.
Very nice. Thanks for doing that.
You're welcome. Thanks for playing in.